Hello, everybody, and welcome to Graded Point Live. Since you see that Piper's not here, blame her for us being late.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's the way you do it. Blame the woman. It's always the woman's fault. Hi. Good to see everybody tonight. Once again, we have Mr. Mike Murphy with us.
Hello.
I think this is the one time I invited you. I was like, hey, could you come on?
Always happy to, man.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. I just felt like I was like looking at your campaign the other day, and I was like, well, I really want my book, so I need to get this funded.
Right.
So,
We are working at it, man. We are working at it.
yeah, you are currently, was it $997 away
Yep.
from $997 away from getting that goal of $6,000 where we can get this thing going, and then it's to push on those stretch goals that we want, so you get full colors and all that nice stuff.
Yeah, full colors, covered by Donald DeLay.
Hmm.
And yeah, assuming we can hit funding, which I'm pretty sure we'll be able to because we have like 17 days left.
Yeah.
Um, once we hit funding, like we're not even looking at getting this book ready to ship until like April or probably May because we had to extend a month. So
Right.
that's plenty of time to like work on stretch goals.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Because I know it was like you said it. And I think
Cold in here?
what?
What?
Is it
Huh?
cold in here?
Oh,
No.
grandma. Gotta love Mike. It just grandma just randomly comes in. It's like, hey, is it cold in here? No.
That's awesome.
I'm a fat Native American man. I'm not cold.
It's difficult.
But no, it was you. You said it first. And I think Scott McCullough said it too. It's like he really wanted to like hit his funding in the first 30 because then he could like hit the ground running better.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and better chance of hitting those goals. The estimated dates and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, having to extend kind of throws off our plans because
Mhm.
Kristen has a lot going on schedule wise, and so like I'm really gonna try to hit May, but it may be pushed back to like June or even July before we're looking to ship. But
Mhm.
again, I'm gonna do all that I can.
And there you go. I mean,
That's all you can do.
yeah.
Yep.
But hey, you're a lot closer than you were. That's the way to one good thing to look at.
Yeah, man, like I was thinking about it, and I was because of the potential delays, I was frustrated at having to extend. But I did the math, and to reach 6,000 on Samurai, it took us 3 months
Hmm.
because I had to do the campaign a second time over.
Yeah, I remember that.
So that's 6,000 in 3 months, whereas this time around it's 6,000 in 2 months. So uh being the silver lining guy that I am, I'm like, well, that is progress.
Hmm. That's that's the best way of looking. I'm just kind of scrolling through the. Oh yeah, you know what? Let me show people this. I want to show that 30-second promo
Oh
that you
yeah,
put
yeah,
up.
go
That
for it.
was really cool. So I'm gonna play this
Thank you.
for the stream. See if I can I full screen it. It won't let me do it here. Okay, it's fine.
They'll get the gist.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think that was like something that John Malin came up with, wasn't it? Like people do 30-second promos for their projects. Um,
Yeah,
remember
you know,
talking
and
about
yeah, after not listening to him on how long we should have set Samurai for, I was like, all right, I'm always going to listen to Malin.
it. Because, like, well, at least, because I thought we talked about it, like, the first time you were on, when we were talking about Samurai and Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Because you had 2 campaigns with that. One didn't go well, but the second one did go well. And you talked about, if I remember correctly, for the second campaign, you had to scale things back a bit, and I guess the best word for it is leave your ambition at the door, and go with what's practical.
Yeah, sorry, you roboted up a little bit
Oh,
there.
I'm sorry. But I was saying, because the first campaign was like, I would say probably more ambitious.
Yeah.
But then the second campaign was like, okay, let's leave ambition at the door and see what we can actually produce.
Right.
At the quote lowest point possible, so we can actually get funded and get this book out.
Exactly. Yeah, and still, like,
Fuck's sakes.
I gave us 6 months past when we hit fulfillment, and I'm like, oh, that should be plenty of time.
Mm-hmm.
And Malin's like, well, whatever you think you need, add 3 months to it. And I'm like, I'm not going to add 3 months to 6 months. And here I am, like, we're looking at November when we start fulfillment.
Right.
So, if I just listen to him,
yeah.
So again, Malin says make a 30-second trailer. I make a 30-second trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but if Malin told you to jump off a bridge, would you do it?
At this point, he probably would. Yeah, I would.
I would, yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's probably better
why
life
not?
advice than I can give.
Yeah, I mean, and also Malin used to build bridges, so he knows what he's talking about. So I'm just gonna
Right, exactly.
I'm just gonna go with that.
If he says it's safe, it's safe.
Yep. Welcome back, Raptor.
Yeah, that's the bridge you want to jump off. Yeah, thank you. Little Caesars was fucking.
As you stuff your face with Little Caesars.
Right.
Hey man, it took me like what, fucking 40 minutes?
Yeah.
About that.
Yeah. That was not an in and out deal. That was like I had to go in. They had no hot and ready, so it was like I had to order. Nearly got hit going in the fucking parking lot because some lady was pulling through multiple parking spaces.
Damn.
Then the fucking poker thing right next door to the Bible Fellowship that's next door to the Little Caesar was fucking going off, so the parking lot was full already. It was just a bunch of boomers wasting money on a fucking rigged card game. And then you had the actual Bible study people were there tonight, and they were protesting the poker game. And then I had to wait like 10 minutes for my pizza, so I went to the video game store next to the fucking poker, and I picked up Dot Hack.
Oh, okay. Well, you didn't come away empty-handed, I guess. You still got your pizza.
I still got pizza and video games. So.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, enjoy the Little Caesars.
Yeah. They gave me a free Italian bread.
God, during the 90s, that was literally the diet of the gamer. Like, it was go get a game, go hang out with your boys, especially, if it's like, a multiplayer game or something like that. Hang out with the boys, get some Little Caesars because it's cheap, because nobody had money.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Everybody bring your own controller because fuck you if I'm not buying controllers for you guys.
Also, if I do it, it'll be one of those really shitty ones.
Oh yeah, you're getting, and you got to use the shitty controller. I'm not giving you my my good N64 controller.
Dude, I fucking feel like I did my due diligence today. A mom was about to buy her kid Overwatch.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, because I was in there for a few minutes. Fucking I had time.
Yeah.
And the kid's like, yeah, we don't have internet, but this should be fun. I'm like, you can't play that without internet. And he's like,
Oh no.
And so then, I forget what other, he was going to get Diablo because it like 10-year-old kid, like, oh, that's rated M. You also need an internet connection.
Mm-hmm.
And I just led him towards fucking like Lego shit instead.
Yeah.
Sure.
So you were doing
Saved to my mans.
You were doing better. Were you doing better than the salesman that actually worked there? Is what I'm gathering.
Well, because I actually play video games, I'm not some hipster fuck who actually just wants to work in a video.
Dude, you have
Well,
no
that-
idea
it's-
how many people we had like that. That not you. You know, like we had a lot like you
Yeah.
too, who were like, you know, cool and just want to hang out and chill. And you know, a customer come in and like, oh yeah, well this is good, or you know,
Yeah.
this might not be good. No, but we had those. Like, hey, it must be the most coolest thing ever to work at GameStop. I'm like, oh yeah, it's great.
No, I worked at a video game store for a number of years. I wanted to kill myself.
Exactly. My friend who was he was one of my assistant managers at one time. He put it up succinctly. He says like, if you want to start hating video games, work at GameStop.
I think my worst day ever on the job, and this is the only time you'll ever hear me say this,
Mhm.
but this fucking family brought in all their little neglets.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh, are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm not taking it back. I'm not sorry for saying it. I'm sorry for saying it on air. But this black family brought in all of their kids.
Mhm.
One pissed herself. The other one shit on the floor.
What?
What?
Yeah, no, fucking. I was in Louisiana at the time,
Oh, jeez.
working at a game store. Yeah, so one kid pisses himself. It dribbles on the floor. One just drops trout shit, and the other one picks it up and smears it on cases.
Oh, dear God.
And the parents stare me dead in the eye and don't do anything.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
That's Jesus.
I mean, at that point, you just walk out.
Yeah, that is the only time I will ever use that word. Because that is the only occasion I ever feel like that applied. That is.
I mean,
Fair enough.
I'll be honest with you. Here's what happened. It was funny because it all happened at the same time. We were all working there. You know, at this time we were working there. I wasn't SGA at the time, which is senior advisor. I was just a regular, you know, employee. And it was literally like, you know, oh God, this place sucks. We got to push this crap. You know, it was like garbage. You know, it's always garbage, right?
And Funkos, but that's repeating yourself.
Well, I didn't have Funkos at the time. This is way before Funkos.
Yeah, this is pre-Funko invasion.
Yeah, and you know we were just like, oh man, you know this is you know this is like literal torture. We were all thinking about quitting, you know, at the same time to you know just fuck the company, you know, fuck the store kind of thing. And then God of War came out, the first one, and it's like,
Okay.
oh, well, you know, because if you worked at GameStop or any place like that, you know, you get to try out the game, you know. And we were like, wow, this is actually pretty good. This is fun. So we had this like joke, me and my friends, we always had this running joke that we were like hanging off a cliff getting ready to jump, you know? And then Kratos came with his blades of chaos. He says, "No, brothers. Gaming is worth saving."
No, brothers, me first.
yeah, considering the intro, yeah. He was like
God, can I talk about God of War and how they fucking ruined it for a minute?
Sure.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
So, the God of War 1, 2, and 3 are fucking like 1, 2, 3 Ghost of Sparta, fucking Chains of Olympus,
Yeah.
and then Ascension. They're all Greek tragedies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you start in chronological order, the characters built up and broken down repeatedly.
Mm-hmm.
God of War 20 whatever the fuck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is not a good game in any way, shape, or form. I will fight anybody who's like, oh, it's a masterpiece. It's not. It is good at tricking you into feeling things. It is a passable story. A bad story in the God of War franchise. The worst combat the franchise has ever had, and this is considering the fucking PSP games.
Even the mobile mobile
Yeah,
phone
even
game.
God of War Mobile had fucking better games. But it's a cinematic masterpiece because it looks real and it makes you play a dad. Fuck games that make you play dads. Oh, Last of Us is amazing. Fuck you. Oh, BioShock Infinite.
Dude, what are you talking about? Wait a minute, hold on, back up. Like, Last of Us is fine. That was a really good movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
I can't wait to see Last of Us 2 when it comes on YouTube. It's gonna be great.
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
No, but that's my problem. It's like they're movies, not games. If I'm paying $60, right, and I expect to control the story or have, play along with the story or something, I expect that. It's not just watch me dad it up for fucking 4 hours.
Like the opening thing of that game should have been like Kratos' new wife should have been alive, and they got this kid and everything, and then fucking Odin kills them for some reason.
Yeah, you actually have a setup there.
Yeah, and then of course Kratos is like, well, fuck this shit, and then gets the Blades of Chaos and goes wilding out again because I never understood him having like a Thor-like weapon, with the axe. Because it just doesn't feel Kratos to me. I mean, yeah, he had different weapons in the games and stuff, but you identify Kratos with the Blades of Chaos. Yeah.
Yeah, and they are actively bound to him.
Yeah.
It was a signifier. It worked on so many levels because it's a metaphor for him being chained to what he did. Mm-hmm. And he is constantly marked with the fucking ashes of his family covering him, which apparently nobody who fucking reviewed God of War 2016 fucking played the original.
Yeah, they had no idea why he was ashened.
Yeah. Well, Kratos has a family now. Are you fucking kidding me? The entire point of the first game is he is trying to atone for the sins of murdering his family in a blinding rage.
Yeah.
It starts out with, what have I become? And he tries to kill himself.
Mm-hmm.
Name a fucking more poignant video game opening than that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm gonna dad it up and then have a fucking slap fight with fucking one of the Marvel Asgard rejects.
It was Baldur, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry, his fucking gate's shut.
and then all through the game, you basically were hoping for a fight between him and Thor, and then they just tease it at the end.
Yeah. Oh look, it's Thor's son.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Oh look, it's a dragon.
Sure. It's a dragon.
Now backtrack 37 times. Oh look, Secret Valkyrie boss battle. Fuck off.
It got me that, like, they made the World Serpent like just a bro.
Yeah.
That made no sense to me. Like the World Serpent
is typically like fucking chaotic neutral, isn't he?
Yeah. Like
the World Serpent is, it wants to eat everything, but it really
It wants to eat everything because that is its purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So I consider that like chaotic neutral. It knows its purpose. It will fulfill it.
And didn't like Thor, like during Ragnarok, Thor has to kill it because it's wilding or something.
Some shit.
Like that was okay. So, if I remember correctly,
yeah, we are getting into mythology.
Loki fucks up by getting Baldur killed,
mm-hmm.
And then and that's that point where he gets wrapped up in the chains of his son and daughter, Jormungandr, and he's the reason why there's earthquakes, because Jormungandr's venom is being poured into Loki's eyes as he's
mm-hmm.
as he's entrapped within hell, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Which is also located within Hell's vagina.
That is such a good metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, confirming that who needs women?
Oh yeah. Oh, the fucking twist. So earmuffs for anybody who has not played God of War 2016 and doesn't want to be spoiled on a now 3-year-old game that you can watch for free on YouTube. Kratos' son is Loki.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for fuck's sakes!
Oh, you didn't know that, Mike?
No, I didn't.
It's awful.
I don't care.
Yeah.
It's just I'm over fuck's sakes at the fact that it's fucking Loki of all things.
Yeah, weren't we having a conversation like offline one day where we were talking about how Loki is just like one of the most overused characters in any thing lately? Like,
He's good as a supporting character, but not as a fucking main character.
yeah, thanks Marvel. Another thing to blame Marvel for.
Yeah. But it
So-
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
So my thing with God of War 2016 is like, okay, in theory, I'm okay with the idea of having Kratos try to go back to the whole quiet man thing, being a family man and all that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with moving to a different mythology. The two things that kind of broke the game for me is what makes the God of War series effective and memorable is the story is unrelenting. Stuff happens plot wise and never stops. Like it never lets up. It's like a 12-hour long metal album.
Yeah.
And the problem with God of War 20, well, one of my two problems with it is by having this semi-open world experience and encouraging just going out and exploring, you get a whole lot of just watching the back of Kratos' head while he steers a raft.
Yeah. It's got the pacing of an asthmatic 90-year-old running a 4K.
And then, so like I got maybe 10 hours into that game. It was maybe 5 hours after they reached the peak of the mountain. And like after he gets the blades back, like he goes back to the cabin and digs them up. Like maybe an hour or two after that. And I just hit this wall of like, and to be honest, like this is kind of the problem that I had with all the God of War games, but like here it was magnified. So like I respect the franchise for what it is, but my problem is scale. And what I mean by that is like you can't have me go through like, undead soldiers and like, harpies and all this shit and like go up against this huge screen filling boss and then be like, all right, wasn't that cool? Now do it all over again. And because it's like, no, I just took down a titan. Like I'm not gonna beat the shit out of harpies for another 20 hours.
yeah. Once you topple Titans, it's kind of everything else is kind of a let down, right? Like,
Yeah, because it's like I know that it's no challenge to me, and I know that it is what it is because this is a quote unquote video game, and I felt the 2016 edition just kind of magnified that stuff because like you would have these encounters, and then it's like, all right, now go back to exploring, and I'm like, how about no, dude? Like I'm good.
Yeah, I guess like one of the problems I have that's kind of in line with that is like on the harder difficulties, Kratos is basically wet fucking paper. Anything immediately kills him. So a fight with a Valkyrie is just as difficult on hard as like a fucking undead soldier. It is just like it makes no sense because in like God of War 1, 2, and 3, you were fighting crowds, even on hard. If you took a hit, you took a bunch of damage, but you weren't near death constantly.
Sure.
It took fucking up in combat. But in this, it's like, oh hey, you're struggling with like one or two zombies, and then like a frost giant shows up, and it's like, oh well, fuck you, you can kill it. It's exactly the same difficulty.
yeah, that's kind of stupid too. Because I'll be honest with you, like one of the reasons you play like a game like God of War or Bayonetta or Devil May Cry is to kill as many fucking things as possible in a very quick amount of time, right? And look cool doing it.
All of these voices inside of my head.
I mean, really, and then you got some wrinkles with certain, characters who are like, okay, they're resistant to long range, so I got to go and like do some short range shit,
Yeah, and like so Selena loves the Bayonetta series, and like watching her play through those, the way they kind of sidestep around that whole like here's a bunch of boring enemies, now here's a big one, now rinse repeat, is throughout the entire game they just have batshit crazy stuff happening in the background all the time.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of this like spectacle of like I can't like all right, now we're hurtling on a rock through time, like I don't know what's happening, and okay, sure, I'll beat up these guys because I want to see what's going to happen next.
Yeah. Using
Another
the background to kind of get you to the next, want you to get to the next part, essentially. Yeah.
Right.
another Platinum game I think that does that very well is Transformers Devastation.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, because you would see shit going on in the back. I was like, I need to get over there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like before you even do the fight with like Minosaur or
Mhm.
whatever, he's in the background. As you're driving across the bridge to the fight with Blitzwing, he's like flying overhead.
Mm-hmm.
There's shit going on,
Mhm.
and it's like always kind of hyping you up for that next thing, but it keeps that scale, so it doesn't just like blow its load on giant like screen.
Yeah. And, you know, and that's what I say, man. It's like I don't. I mean, I get narrative-driven games and stuff, but I just don't feel God of War should be that strong of a narrative-driven game. You know, the narrative is me angry, me go kill. You know.
Sure, sure. Like I don't like again in theory I don't have a problem with what God of War 2016 was trying to be.
Mm-hmm.
I just think they gave it the wrong paint job. Like
Yeah.
I think if they made it like again, if they just made it The Quiet Man, the video game, I'd be like, all right, I have no problem with this. But the second you put Kratos in that role, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not him. Like he's an archetype, and when you try to like break down an archetype and do your whole subversion thing,
Mm-hmm.
he stops being that archetype.
That's why I was saying,
It
you know,
was a
because
pro-
I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say it's a prog rock album with a heavy metal cover.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, the thing that like I would say, especially with that God of War, like I said, earlier, it's like it would be more pronounced. It's like because okay, well we know that Loki, we know the kid is Loki, right? And by the way, to mention in the chat, no, it's not Kratos' actual son. He's adopted. I think that's how it went, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was adopted by his mother was I think she was a goddess, and she's the one that laid low with the frost giant.
Yeah.
And so, but in that regard, Kratos. So I could see like Kratos like at the beginning of the game, if you don't want to kill off Loki and make him like the prize as it were, I would have had like Kratos' wife, being alive, and he's doing all this shit and stuff, showing him doing like mundane stuff, and then agents of Baldur or whoever, shows up, kills his wife, and kidnaps Loki, causes Kratos to like, do that, oh shit, here we go again,
Mm-hmm.
and then time to wild out, that's what I want. I want Kratos wilding out. I don't want no, having long boat rides and telling his son stories about this and that and the other. Because was it like, doesn't Kratos mention at one point, he says, I was like, that tells you they're not even looking at their own lore. He says, I'm a god, boy. I was like, no, you're not. Zeus took your powers away.
Right.
That like they don't explain that is a transitive thing that is already established in the universe.
Yeah.
Right.
That bugged me when he said like I'm a god. It's like you're not, but you're not though. You Zeus took your power away.
And immediately after he says that to the kid like has a schizophrenic switch, and he's like, "I'm a god. I can do whatever I want." And then after like 10 minutes, that stops.
Yeah.
It's really fucking dumb.
Yeah, making no sense. I mean, only
And I, like speaking of the kid, like I think that's another like if we move over to the narrative side of it, like I just okay, maybe you could have made it work, but the kid, and I hate talking shit about kids, but like I hated that kid's performance if it was a kid. Like
Mm-hmm.
he was just whiny and annoying and like this two-dimensional stereotype of like what a kid in an action movie is supposed to be, and I was like, I don't want to be walking around with this kid for 20 plus hours.
Mm-hmm. What do you call it? The what's that term they used back in the day? The escort quest. Right.
Yeah, like right, the
Mm-hmm.
escort mission.
Yeah, and basically the entire game is an escort mission. Um,
Right.
like, and I like I remember one of the old, I think it was X Play. They had this thing for escort missions. It's like the main character, but they holding an umbrella over the.
Guy that's in the like mascot outfit,
Oh god, I
and
hated that fucking one.
Mm-hmm.
and he's basically like one giant moving target, and you're like, oh god, I gotta do this.
Mm-hmm.
And
All
if
right.
he gets hurt at all, he blows up.
Yeah.
Yep.
I still don't think that's as bad as the one from Metal Gear Solid 2, where you have to like do all the shit to get rid of bugs, get her through underwater sections.
Oh wow, that's right. Yeah.
Nothing beats the one of the early zone quests in Warcraft. It's an escort quest. It's like this lady. She's like, I'm old and feeble. You got to help me get across this area so I can get to my son. Right? I think it's an orc lady. So okay, so she's going along, and she's like da 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 da. And of course you're having to kill things because of course they're scripting, for enemies to pop up and try to attack her, and you got to take them out. At one point, she goes, "Oh, I sprained my ankle. I'm going to have to carry her, ain't I?" And then she literally goes, "Winds of the fathers, carry me to my destination." She summons a fucking tornado, rides it to her son. I'm like,
Bitch, could you not do this earlier?
yeah.
I have places to be.
I'm like, why didn't you tell me you were a shaman? One thing, and two, why did I just do all that? Like, why did those innocent gnolls have to die? It was, I mean, oh gosh. Speaking of Blizzard, Mr. Murphy, what do you think of what's been going on with Blizzard and their handling of being a Chinese shill to
I think
think
their
you mean
actions
Chinese
have been piss
patriot.
poor.
Yeah. Oh God. I mean, I saw the translation of the tweet on their version of Twitter, Weibo or whatever it's called.
Right.
Which I find it funny. I think it's Weibo, but it's still funny if you just say Weibo because
Yes.
But now I don't know if you follow a guy named Mark Kern, who was like one of the original developers on World of Warcraft. But he's basically organizing full boycott of Blizzard at this point.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, like I know I don't follow him, but again, like I follow enough people that do, so I basically follow him.
yeah, so you see a lot of retweets and things like that.
Yeah.
He made a good point about that tweet because like the tweet said something about like we will not allow our national identity to be tarnished or something like that. And this is a Blizzard account, right?
Oh wow. Okay.
And people's like, what the hell? And what it is Blizzard, they have to go to do business in China. You have to do business in China. You have to be either a majority owned Chinese business or work with one. And so they basically entered into a joint venture with a company called NetEase, right? And they have, and because of that, like the company really in China, it's not really Blizzard, it's NetEase, right?
Yeah.
And like Mark Kern said, it's basically in China, that's as official as you can get. I'm like, yeah. I said, but it's still, the guys in Irvine are the guys who run the company, so.
Right.
And so I've said, like I said, I'm be shocked if by tomorrow they don't have a statement about this. But I'm talking about the main Blizzard, because they're eating a lot of shit PR wise right now.
And stocks wise, if I remember correctly, they dropped like a quarter.
Yeah, their stocks are dropping. People are like deleting not just like their games and stuff, but they're deleting like their accounts. Like they want they want their stuff fully out of like Blizzard's database and shit.
That's crazy.
I was like, wow. It's like, of all the things, maybe you probably pulled the worst PR move I've ever seen, and this is after the NBA pulled their bad PR move.
Oh yeah, the
They were
NBA
probably
stuff was
hoping
incredible.
that,
Yeah,
they're probably hoping that the normal people wouldn't care, but the fact that the NBA has bent the knee repeatedly to the Chinese within the last week or so has not has riled up the normies.
and then but yeah, they did all that, but then they lost all their business relationships and ties in China. Like, anyway, so what was the point?
Yeah, I mean it's like what's interesting is like just watching how much money is tied up in all of these like British and American companies, because the second one of them clams up, you're like, they got millions invested in you. And like the money coming out of China is just crazy. I haven't like talked much about this, but like last year from like summer to early fall, I was working with a Chinese company. They had me writing like text-based stuff for them for like video games they were developing. And for a working freelancer in the U.S. In writing and art, it was a stupid amount of money that I'm like, are you sure? Like, you're supposed to be paying me this amount? And they were just treating it like it was water. I'm like, there is crazy money coming in out of your economy, man. What is going on over there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the problem is now they're having a hard time regenerating because the economy is not as good as they want to claim it is right now.
No, because most of the GDP growth is essentially propped up by ghost cities, people making paper mache buildings, essentially, and just propping up and devaluing the currency. And
oh yeah, didn't their fucking like biggest mall in the world collapse because of like how they built it?
It doesn't surprise me if it did.
That doesn't surprise me.
Well, it was like nobody was even in it anyways, because like they built it in the middle of nowhere. But it was like built on like bad ground with bad foundation. They did it super cheap and super quick.
Well, when they did the Olympics, what was it, 2008? They did the Olympics in China.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People were afraid because most of the structures that were built for the Olympics were like, like he's like, because like it was literally like 6 months before the Olympics. I mean, if you've ever seen like development that happens for an Olympic, for an Olympics to be held in an area, it takes years.
Oh yeah.
That's why they announced them so early. They're like, well, in 8 years there will be an Olympics in this city. Well, now they got to go to work, immediately to start building up the, infrastructure, the, the building space they'll need, event centers and all this other stuff. China did that in 6 months. So, if a normal code, like a code inspector from North America went into those buildings, they would not pass inspection. Great point. Isn't China doing quantitative easing to inflate their GDP? Yes.
Oh god.
Yes.
I know this isn't related to China, but there's a story of a guy who was part of I forget what forum it was, but basically it was like a building forum, DIY.
Yeah.
And he kept going on and on about like the shit he added to his house. Where like he extended one of the garages out. He added a second story and all this just wild shit. He added new like vinyl siding to the house and immediately grilled next to it, melting some of it.
Oh wow.
Just shit like that. Like he has 100 cabinets in his, but all the outlets are above the cabinets, near the ceiling. It just absolutely fucking insane. And I cannot remember the name of this house because they gave it a nickname based on the guy's last name.
I know what you're talking. It sounds familiar. I just can't remember where it's from. I just realized that I didn't tweet out any of the links.
Yeah, that's why I didn't know we were live.
Hey, well, at least we got 6 loyal viewers who will pay attention to their,
Their phones.
Yeah.
6 people who are actually subscribed to the channel.
Yeah. Do you have a phone?
Do you guys not have a cellular phone?
Do you not have cellular phones? That's another funny thing, when that whole Diablo Immortal thing is a NetEase game. It's just a reskinned NetEase game. It's that's why people were shitting on it. And I've seen some games journalists, and I'm sure you've said you know a thing or two about gaming journalism. They were, somebody brought it up today. He says, "Oh, we saw what you were really mad about. Y'all were mad because it wasn't Diablo 4. Y'all didn't care to." I was like, "No, people were literally saying like this is a cheap Chinese shit."
Right.
Cheap Chinese shit. This is what it is.
And it's
yeah,
also, it was also
I
like
love
the first sign that something was really fucking wrong.
Yeah.
I love journalists who try to recontextualize what you're saying as you're saying it, and it's like, no, like I know you desperately want to write this story, but that's not what we're saying.
Exactly. I mean, it's kind of like how they've I don't know if you've kept up any with Vic Mignogna's legal situation, but
No, I know it's gotten ridiculous, but
Yeah.
I just, with everything going on, I don't have time to.
obviously, yeah, can't watch everything, as they say.
Yeah.
Can't stay up till 3:00 in the morning watching Nick Rekieta. But
Once in a while. Once in a
yeah,
while.
yeah. But like one of the things that got me was like this reporter for the Dallas Morning News, which just because it's in Texas, don't think it's a friendly conservative newspaper. It's a very, very left leaning kind of thing. But every one of her articles about this situation was trying to frame it in a Me Too situation. Right?
Of course.
It's like, and she kept saying, in every article, it always starts in anime's Me Too moment. I'm like, so what's the Me Too moment? It's like, oh, hey, a bunch of my colleagues got together and drummed me out of the industry because they didn't like me because I'm a Christian. Me Too.
Right.
No.
Mm-hmm.
That's no. Of course, she was trying to claim like he abused these women and harassed them and tried to make them do things, and that's why they're Me Tooing. I'm like, yeah, but when you hear when they tell their story and then the evidence piles up and eyewitness testimony piles up, it doesn't add up.
Right. But we really need this to be true.
Yeah, exactly. We really, really need this to be true.
Right. They just go into old Gil mode. They're like, "Oh, can you help old Gil out?"
Yeah. Come on. Old Gil needs to get out of the need to stop sleeping in the laundromat.
Right.
Oh God. Well, it's just I had something that I kind of it was like similar to that, and it just escaped me. God, I hate it when that happens. See, this is happening when you don't share links. Just forget everything. God bless. Well, it's it's kind of like with comic books. I can bring it back to something. Ethan Van Sciver is a Nazi. Okay.
Right.
Where's your proof? Look the way he
Why
draws.
would you say something so controversial and bright?
Yeah. Well, look at his sketchbook that he did of Sinestro. Oh, well, okay. He called it My Struggle. All right. You know that's what Hitler called his book, right? Okay. Do you see what Sinestro looks like? Well, yeah, he's got a little Hitler mustache. What do you think of that? I said, I think the character of Sinestro is a fascist. That doesn't mean Ethan is a fascist, you know?
Nor is he promoting that.
Yeah. I mean,
Like
what
last I checked, Sinestro is the bad guy.
Yeah. And then he did another art book. Well, I think was it Atrocitus, and he called it he named it after like the communist
Right.
thing. I forgot what exact.
Yeah, it was a whole line of sketchbooks that were supposed to be themed like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like again, like everyone wants to strip every ounce of context out of
And
everything that figures like Ethan does.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I saw like if you look at the link for Ethan's channel, for Comic Arctic Pro Secrets, it's actually YouTube/user/Fascist Frog, right? Because that's what his channel was called, Fascist Frog. So, are we to assume that he likes frog fascism? I mean, like, you know what I mean? It's like
I don't know why I misheard that, but I heard that as Frog Fractions, which is one of the best like Flash games ever made.
Yes, Ethan is Frog Fractions 3.
Finally. If you have bad guys in your work, that makes you a bad guy. It doesn't work that way for heroes. Yeah. Frog fascism, duck racism, it's all the same evilist. Like we're all of a sudden the creators are all these creators are now popping up in my chat. What's going on here? I miss Holocaust from X-Men AOA. He got downgraded to his flesh name Nemesis. Yeah, whatever, man. Yeah, screw that. Holocaust was an awesome villain.
Well, technically, in some timelines, Holocaust never happened.
Oh, well, Hey, it's just like that thing in Tiananmen Square, about 30 years ago that never happened. Remember that?
No, I don't, because nothing happened. I don't know why you keep.
I bring it up because it was a nice sunny day in August.
There was a party. Everyone was happy
in Tiananmen Square. Right. Yeah, it was fine.
And then they all had a lovely lunch.
Yeah, it was fine. Nothing happened.
But some asshole held up the party vans coming in.
No, he did not. Nothing happened.
Nothing happened. That guy just crossed the streets.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't there for the party. He was there for no reason. Nothing happened at all.
Yeah. He just happened to stop in front of the, it wasn't that he stopped. It was just like the way the camera flashed and framed it at that moment. It looked like he stopped, but he was actually in mid-stride. You just didn't see it, right? That's all. He was just crossing the road.
Thank you to our sponsors for tonight's show, Tencent and Weibo.
And Activision Blizzard Entertainment. It was his Uber. Yeah, that's what it was. His Uber. His Uber was coming to pick him up. That's all. No big deal. Uber tank rides. Exactly. There you go. I mean, that's all fine. Everything's fine.
I honestly, like, if there was an Uber service that was like, hey, you can here for a few dollars more, you can show up in a tank.
Yeah.
I'd do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to go to my niece's birthday party. Okay. I'm showing up in a tank.
Just hear that rumbling sound coming down?
We need an ANCAP society for that shit.
I mean, you could do Killdozer, I guess.
Yeah.
Can you imagine getting picked up in Killdozer?
Oh, I imagine that all the time.
I don't think it actually wouldn't work out because you wouldn't have no way to get in because, you know, the guy literally entombed himself in that thing.
Yeah, but you
So-
ride on the side with like holding an AK-47.
Just for decoration. You're not going to shoot
Yeah,
him.
just purely for decoration. There's no
Yeah.
other reason.
Exactly. Oh.
Oh no, they got him.
Oh, no. Murphy.
They heard him talking about the party.
Yeah, too much killdozing. Oh no, Mike, please,
Please, Murphy.
please, Murphy. Let's be honest. All that happened was that China was showing the world their real life version of combat. Just the other guy forgot his tank. Give Mike a few minutes to come back.
Hopefully he can come back.
Yeah, he should come back. I think he just got disconnected. Yeah, he's back in thing already. It looks like he lost connection on something.
His internet's ate him.
Yeah, got eaten by the WeberNet. Murphy's Law has struck again. If something can go wrong, it will go wrong. Hello.
Hey, I'm here.
The Chinaman got you. Dude, they came in and shanked Mike. Like, nope.
He knows too much.
We heard you talking about something that didn't happen 30 years ago.
Right.
Speaking of things that didn't happen 30 years ago, I wonder how Vic's case is going.
Apparently, from last I heard, it's going to appeal. So,
Okay. That'll be interesting.
yep. So, but you know, the way Ty Beard explained it the other day is like it's probably a good thing that everything got thrown out, so they can all be appealed at once instead of having to try to do a piecemeal appealing on it. You know?
Which makes so much work.
Yeah. So,
And I heard someone saying something to the effect of the judge in question is notorious for having stuff overturned.
yeah. For example, he was doing he was presiding over a case where it was an Episcopal church that was breaking away from the main church, right? And it was a property dispute. Did it belong to the main church or did it belong to this, the people who are now this church, right?
Yeah.
Instead of applying, this thing called, the law, he applied church doctrine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then it got appealed, and basically the appeals court told us, like, no, dummy, you can't do that. we're not here to talk about church doctrine. We deal in like actual laws passed by our representatives, like not this other
Right.
crap.
We're a court of law.
Yeah, not a court of
To
church.
be fair, there's no power higher than God, apparently.
I mean, yes, but at the same time, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, render unto God what is God. I mean, that's
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm more afraid of like the dude who can just shoot lightning bolts than a dude who, okay, you have to wait 6 months to sit in a chair for the lightning bolts to go in.
Trust me, if it only took 6 months, there would be a lot less crime in the world.
Yeah.
There's
Hi,
people.
Xavier.
What up?
Hello.
Hi, Mike.
Hello.
Hey. Hello.
Hi, other Mike.
It's like,
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Mike. Hi. Double in stereo. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. I'm
Hello
guessing
to our special guest, Mike, and hello to Mike that I also hosted with.
Yeah.
Hello.
So now that we've like said hello 45 times,
Hi.
Hello.
Hello, John.
hi.
Hello, John.
Hola.
Hello, John. Hello, John.
hey, don't bring up John Malin in here. He apparently
Ni
ruins
hao.
everything.
This is confirmed.
Yeah, God forbid we get John Malin's audience in here.
Oh God. Oh no! Please don't bring in 500 people to watch this stream. Please don't do it. No.
Right, and boost my boost my viewer count.
Yeah.
And, yeah, like
Yeah, please
That
don't
whole
boost my
thing.
viewer count, John Malin.
Also, don't subscribe to the channel. So
Yeah,
you know,
please,
hit 1,000
whatever you do,
subs.
don't subscribe to the channel.
right.
And you damn
Don't
well
help-
better not donate to our Patreon. Subscribe.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't help me be successful.
Yeah. Whatever you do not help me be successful. Alasmat Film says Malin will draw you out of existence, you hate mongers.
Hey, Elasmat.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a good guy. We had him on a couple weeks ago. He's
Yeah, he's
Good
lots
fella.
of fun.
good fellow. Talked to what's his I talked to Ben Fuselage or whatever his last name is earlier.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and he's going to be here on Monday, so that'll be fun. And I think, Mike, we talked about maybe you coming back next week too.
I'm here all the time.
Not you, Mike. Our guest, Mike.
I might be here.
I'm just not going to show up. Y'all can do the show without me.
Radical.
We thought about it.
I'll be there.
We're gonna crash this plane with no survivors.
Yeah, we'll iron out a time later, of course, or day, I should say.
Sure.
It's like too late. I already did donate to your Patreon, but I did to Subscribe Star. So let's say Yellow Lantern being all technical over here. Being
Yeah,
all
I really
technical.
got to set up a subscribe star account.
Yeah, I do both because some people prefer one or the other. You know, it's like, well,
Right.
whatever
Yeah,
they
same
say,
thing. Same
you know.
thing.
Hey, just, play to your market.
Yeah, I like making money, unlike some people.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Who might also be named Mike.
Yeah, Mike Myers hasn't made a decent movie in years.
I mean, can't ride Shrek forever.
And
I
he
mean, you
didn't.
could. Have you not seen the copy pasta?
Shrek is love. That's why.
What I'm waiting for is if Bill and Ted 3 is a hit, just wait for it. They'll do a Wayne's World 3.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, I've been hoping that when Stallone doing those sequels to old movies,
Mhm.
and he did John Rambo, and then what was the other sequel he did? Or Rocky Balboa.
Yeah.
Then eventually he would do John Spartan, the Demolition Man.
Oh, that would be great.
Yes.
Well, I'm waiting for Cobra. Like there was talk about him
Yeah.
doing something Cobra related with Robert Rodriguez.
Mm-hmm.
Joke's on you. It's
Oh.
just another live-action G.I. Joe movie.
Oh no.
Directed by Robert Rodriguez.
I could dig it, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, it could go one of two. Be like the greatest, most violent ever, or it could be like Spy Kid.
Yeah.
I really thought you were gonna say Shark Boy and Lava Girl, which is much worse.
Wow. You know, I've never actually seen that. Sometimes I forget it exists.
I
Every now
thought
and
you
again.
liked bad movies.
That's for the best.
Yeah.
I like bad. That's
Didn't I
just-
tell the story recently about the story about how Cobra came into being?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell it. Should I tell it again? Because it's a funny
Sure.
story.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Content.
Okay, so the creators of there was these guys and they were writers, and you know they came up with a script and they showed it to Stallone, right? And the name of the script was Beverly Hills Cop, and you know they wanted Stallone to be a star in it, and he's like, okay, you know he checked it out and he says like, okay, I kind of like what you're doing, but I think it should be less comedy. And instead of the character being named Axel Foley, his name should be Axel Cobaretti.
Oh Lord.
And they was like, well, okay, but you know that's kind of not what we're going for. We're actually going for like kind of a comedy, you know, kind of thing. And he's like, okay, well, I guess I'm not interested then. And so what he did is then he went and wrote Cobra.
Needs more cultists.
And then they got Eddie Murphy to be Axel Foley for Beverly Hills Cop. Wonder which one turned out better in the long run.
Right.
Oh no, man. You know, sometimes you get some crazy movies out there. The 80s was such a great time for. Like, you ever see I Come in?
Yes.
Yeah.
I Come in Peace is great in
It's-
its terribleness.
Fucking space drug dealer is harvesting people to make the ultimate space heroin.
God,
Space cop is trying to track him down with Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, no, man. I am a child of growing up during summer vacations in the 90s, just watching HBO and having nothing else to do. Like, I Come in Peace, Robot Jocks. Like, I
Yeah.
could go for days talking about those movies.
Robot Wars.
Yep.
God.
I have a shit ton of those on DVD.
I think the only Beverly Hills Cop movie I've seen is the one with like bootleg Disneyland.
Mm-hmm.
That was the third one. That was the
Yeah. Wonder World.
That,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the only one I've seen.
The first. Yeah, you should see the first two. They're really good.
Okay.
yeah, because Judge Reinhold was like the chief of police, and he trying his best, but it's obviously not really cut out for the job.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like funny because you can see the transition of like the three main characters. Of course, Eddie Murphy's character and Judge Reinhold and the other guy from 1 to 2 is funny because like the other guy, like the older guy, he's like the old grizzled, veteran detective kind of thing, and he's all like, hard nosed and everything. But by the second movie, he's all like kind of chilled out a little bit, and Judge Reinhold's character is like trying to become this badass. He's got all these weapons he's bought, and because his name, I think, what was his name, Billy in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at one point he's like pulling out AKs and shit, and his partner who goes, "We need to talk, Billy."
I don't know what you think we do, but
This ain't it.
Yeah. But you're talking about I Come in Peace. Then you realize that whole title and everything in that movie all led up so at the end London could say, "And you're leaving in pieces."
Yep.
That was the whole
Yeah.
premise. That whole premise of that movie was built so London at the end could say, "And you're leaving in pieces."
I guarantee you that's the first thing they wrote.
Yeah, they wrote the end before the beginning.
Right. And they all just like gave each other high
High
fives and
fives.
snorted cocaine and we're taking the day off.
I mean, yeah, that's a typical how 80s movies were made. Yeah, I mean, like,
you come up with a title, you come up with a one-liner that ties the entire thing together, and missing, there's a movie.
Oh, I'm sorry. The correct quote is "You go in pieces." Okay, that's
Yeah.
You go.
But,
in pieces.
Blind Fury. That's
Well, if y'all remember, I don't know if y'all like. I saw, for example, let me give you another movie. I saw like Big Trouble in Little China for the first time in the '90s, right? And when I saw, because this is like video games and all that stuff. So the first time I saw these like guys with these fucking Chinese sun hats and running around shooting lightning and shit, I was like, holy shit, Raiden,
It's Raiden.
I didn't know the Chinese were capable of this.
Yeah. Why did the Chinese have Japanese thunder god powers? What's going on?
why does this Chinese guy from Blade Runner have a beholder in his basement?
Going back to the one line that makes a movie, I think you could have actually saved a relatively recent comic book movie with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you take Suicide Squad and you take the character of Captain Boomerang.
Mm-hmm.
And you in his establishing thing, he throws the boomerang, it misses, dude stops and points his gun, put everything down, he drops everything, boomerang hits him back the head. He's like, boomerangs always come back.
Yeah.
Then you go later on and he leaves before the final fight, and final fight starts, they're getting their ass kicked, and then out of nowhere, boomerang hits your final bad guy, whatever the fuck it was called,
Mm-hmm.
and he shows up. Boomerangs always come back. Movie saved.
I'm not gonna lie, that already sounds better than what happened.
Yeah. Speaking of bad DC films, Have y'all? Has everybody watched the not Suicide Squad, the Birds of Prey movie trailer?
Broads of Prey.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah, yeah. The Golden Girls of Prey.
God, it
Thank
looks
you
Yeah,
for
so
being
awful.
a friend.
That movie's not getting watched.
No, by
Oh,
anyone.
but it's a feminist film.
Yeah, like Ewan McGregor.
is-
It's an anti-misogynistic feminist film. I was like, well, that's
Yeah, but Ewan McGregor's also only saying that because he got busted having an affair with somebody he was co-starring with.
oh.
Well, yeah, I mean, not just that. Like he left his marriage of however many years for her.
Oh.
4 kids.
Yep.
I kind of
I mean-
refuse to watch it. I agree, y'all. Leonard.
Fucking Ewan McGregor walks out of that interview. He's like,
I have been absolved.
Right.
I have paid my
Yeah,
penance to the
that whole
feminist
thing-
church. Yeah.
That whole thing started because the two of them, what's her name?
Margot
girl.
Robbie.
No, Mary Elizabeth Winstead. The two of them did season 3 of Fargo together.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that's when that shit started.
Gotta love these movies that have homewreckers. I mean, you know, these things that start off and then you got homewreckers in the middle of it. It's great.
Right.
You know. But yeah, no, it's fucking Birds of Prey. What the hell? And it's funny because it's none of the real Birds of Prey, right?
No.
Well,
no.
it's got Black Canary in it.
No, none of the real birds.
No, it doesn't.
Black Canary was not a bird of prey, for one thing. People don't want to talk about that, but she wasn't. The Birds of Prey was the original Birds of Prey was Batgirl, and who was the other one? And Huntress.
Well, Huntress is in the movie.
No, she isn't.
No, she's not.
There is a character in the movie called the Huntress.
Oh, that's great, but it's still not the Huntress.
Yeah, it's this weird thing where they're like, how far can we distance ourselves from the idea of costumes and still get away with calling ourselves a superhero movie?
Yeah.
meanwhile, Marvel's over here going, let's put him in a ridiculous costume.
Yep.
I was
no,
actually
no. Meanwhile, porn is like, "Hey, fam, we got you covered.
Yeah.
Right,
Here
right.
is-
Semen, but
full
we
on,
still got
like,
you covered."
Yeah, comic accurate. What gets me is they took the what I consider one of the better Captain Marvel costumes, like the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite Captain Marvel costume, which is just like, you know, amazingly designed. You get it in the right lighting, it fucking, and they take that and they actually make like a real life thing from the fucking model.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, fucking congratulations.
Well, if you look at the costumes in that movie, you know, if you want to watch that for that, they're all very accurate to the comics. Even got Monica Rambeau in there as a
Yeah, Rambeau's costume looks crazy.
yeah. Yeah, you didn't have to. And I like. Did you hear the actress who plays, you know, Carol in the movie? She, you know, in the porn movie, she said she actually threw shade at Brie Larson and said she has no ass.
Well, she's not wrong.
No, she's not. Yeah, I
Did
saw
she
some.
have an ass double as well?
Yeah, she had an ass double.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because they found like I think it was the advertisement for people, you know, looking for an ass double.
Brie Larson's that weird actress who, like, she is like completely forgettable in every single thing I've ever seen her in, and like she's in a bunch of movies that I like. Like, I didn't know that she was in 21 Jump Street. I didn't know that she was in Kong Skull Island.
I didn't either.
and-
You know, and I'm a huge like, you know, kaiju, you know, fan, and I liked Skull Island, so that's how.
She's the most boring part of that movie. That's why
Yeah.
you forget.
Right.
Let's put it this way: you're supposed to be a blonde, and even Kong doesn't give a shit about you.
Right.
That should tell you everything you need to know.
The one that always got me was I had no idea she was in Scott Pilgrim versus the Universe.
Right. Right. As the lead singer for that one
Yeah.
band.
Mm-hmm.
just completely fucking.
I mean, really, when you look at it, Captain Marvel, she wasn't even the most interesting character in that movie.
no, the
Yeah.
fucking alien was the coolest.
Yeah, the people love the fucking cat.
Yeah, the cat, the alien, Samuel L. Jackson. That's all they gave a shit about. They didn't give a fuck about her.
People wanting Monica Rambeau to be Ms. Marvel or Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe do things in continuity.
Well, the meme is, it's like, in that time period, and anybody who's read Marvel in the time, Carol was not Captain Marvel until recently, like in the last 5 years. Monica called herself Captain Marvel back in the 80s. So if you were looking at if you wanted to look at continuity and stuff like that, that would have made more sense. I remember Ethan talking about that. We already have a Captain Marvel that could have worked in this situation, Monica Rambeau, and you could have checked off your you checked off your diversity list at the same time. You know?
Yeah. I mean, like tying it back to Drawn and Quartered and Mike S. Miller, like that was one of the first like from the audience things that Selena and I participated in, the Monica Rambeau episode.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, like I don't know, like she's a really cool character. She's fun to draw, and yeah, I totally agree. Like if you want to do that whole 90s, like 80s, 90s thing, like she would have been perfect.
Actually was a leader of the Avengers at one point.
Right.
So
The first African American.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you think about it. She led the Avengers before Black Panther did. That's saying something. Because Black Panther, I think he preceded her by a couple, like by a decade or so.
Well, he had too, you know.
Yeah, but he was an active member of the
Wakanda,
Avengers.
He had
that's something.
groceries to shop for, and garage himself.
And as Yellow Lantern said, also not a fucking villain. Yeah, she was a hero all the way through. You didn't worry about Monica Rambeau being, an asshole.
Right.
And that's why I don't get why they didn't use her. I think people would have been, even like people who don't like the direction Marvel films are going, would have been more readily acceptable of that version than what they got. And the only reason they pushed that is because they're trying to make her an icon in Marvel, but nobody gives a shit about her.
Exactly. And like, I love how all of us are like, no, we'll take the black Captain Marvel, and they're still trying to figure out ways to like call us incels and bigoted and misogynistic. And it's like, no, we're saying we would prefer that one.
Yeah,
like,
we want the black woman to be Captain Marvel. We don't.
Yes, we're such racists.
Mm-hmm. And I think we can both agree how they just shit all over Marvel. Like,
well, yeah,
Monica could have had the first Avenger title legitimately. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Yeah, I like that whole movie was an ass pull, right?
Yeah. I still want. I was gonna say I still want to know, like, how bad did Carol Danvers fuck up to get Avenger as her call sign?
I got an idea. Let's make Marvel Comics Captain Marvel a redhead, and they'll cast the black woman in the next film.
There you go.
Yeah, there is a huge erasure going on of redheads in Disney and Marvel, isn't there? Like,
yeah.
Well, I mean, all across the board, because I mean, most of the cast of Batman, it looks like, is going to be race swapped.
Yep.
Well, they're not really cool. They have no souls.
I resent that, right?
Wait. So you're saying gingers have no soul, so they need to cast people who have twice as much?
He did. He went there.
Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta have soul. Soul.
You guys are wrong.
It's good content. You're enjoying.
There's a special place in hell for people like us. It's gonna be so much fun.
Soul Glow. I would sing it, but I can't hit that high note.
Right.
just let your soul glow, man. It's just, oh so silky smooth.
I'd make the attempt, but it'd just get cut off.
Please clap.
Please.
You clap.
Oh man, so yeah. Gosh, where was I at? Thing. Let's see here. If
I got lost in the Soul Glow.
oh yeah, I almost want to play it. I'll play it through the phone, so we won't get copyrighted.
Less
So the audio's warped enough where we
Yeah.
monetize?
Glow. There we. Man, that's really that long. Okay. Here we go.
They had a fake commercial for it.
Yeah, I know. All right, here we go. See if you can hear this.
I feel like a complete idiot. Oh, do not be ridiculous.
I'll just play the whole clip. Fuck it.
If we can hear it.
Can you hear it?
Always wanted to be beautiful, sexy.
How about now?
Yes, 1, 2, 3. Just let your soul go. Just let it shine through. Just
Nightmare Monster.
Good.
Link in the put the link in the chat. Put the link in the chat.
I'm not going to put the link in the chat.
Chat, this is your homework. Go let your soul glow.
Yeah.
Maybe go to Twitter,
Yeah.
and the link may be made available there for context of this joke. It's a lot of work, but
Mm-hmm.
You're worth it.
I love. Let's get some. Well, you know what? I can show pictures of Soul Glow. Hold on a minute.
Do this.
Yeah. Soul Glow. Oh. You know what? I'm just gonna play the commercial. Hell with it. Just get demonetized.
fuck it.
It's not like I got monetized anyway. Here we go. All right, boys.
It's been a couple months.
Been a while since we've been monetized.
We just need three other monetizable clips. And they can sort it out on their own.
sexy. Yes, 1, 2, 3. Just let it shine through. Just let your soul, baby. Feeling oh so silky. Just let
They literally all it is activator.
Perhaps I should cut off.
I don't want to. Let's see. Let's get some images.
You know what?
Hmm?
I think you may actually get away with this if you just commentate on it a little bit.
Well,
Because
yeah,
of
that's
how
why.
altered the visuals are.
Yeah, that's why I didn't. When Xavier was talking, I didn't say anything. Is let him talk. Like, I'm seeing if I can find a picture of the couch from the movie.
Fuck your couch.
Yeah, there you go. Like the guy's like parents were sitting. Yeah, here you go. Here's the GIF. Let's see view image. They were just sitting. They all have Soul Glow in their hair, and they get up. They just leave a fucking stain on the.
Right.
If you haven't seen this movie, it's called Coming to America.
Yes, you got to watch.
Highly recommend.
Yes, it's a good movie.
So good.
Oh god, there was a Greek basketball player in the NBA who just got his like signature shoe from Nike recently, and there's a colorway of it, right, that is Coming to America themed. That looks fucking sick.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, here I'll look up a picture of it.
Let's see. This is BET 3 a.m. approved. That's just nasty.
I mean, it was such an interesting hair treatment, but at the same time, it was fucking messy.
Yeah.
Here, I'm posting it in Streamlink chat.
Okay. Oh.
They are fucking sick.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Yeah, yeah. It's got the leopard print on it and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Too bad it's like, probably made in China.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard. I've seen a lot of people are now wilding on Nike and other companies that do business in China. For making their shit. So, see, what does it say? Next BlizzCon, I hope there is a lot of May cosplayers who dress up in pro HK gear. Apparently, one of the ideas is for a bunch of people to show up as Winnie the Pooh and then Naruto run through the halls.
Okay.
They can't ban all of us. I mean, they can, but they won't get all of us.
In China, drawn and quartered has a new meaning. I just wanted to. It's like, but I'm part Japanese. Japanese? That's even worse. You know what? I want this image here. I'll put it in the link chat too, so y'all can see it. But I want this.
For what purpose? Holy crap!
Why not? It's a why not. It's not why. It's why not. People should wild out on Apple after kowtowing to China over the HK police app. Yeah.
They won't, because the people who buy Apple products are the ones who get the most upset about shit like this.
It's like, God, I hate everything that's going on in Hong Kong. Let me get on my Apple product and hashtag Hong Kong protest.
Right.
For my phone.
Right.
Yeah.
I already retweeted it. I've done my part. You guys are too fucking needy. God.
You're putting a lot of emotional labor on me.
Just want you to be a good person.
Communism isn't even all that bad. You should be thankful.
Yeah.
It just hasn't been done right.
Yeah. So you're saying it hasn't even been done right by the country that you're shilling for?
Right.
I mean...
Fuck you, incel.
Oh, damn, got
Right.
him. Well, that was the end of that conversation. You have thoroughly destroyed
Block.
that person. They will never
Anime avatar.
Yeah, anime avatar. Get out of here.
These anime avatars, come and get me.
Go jerk yourself off to hentai, you goober gobber.
Yeah, here you go, goober gobbers. I remember a friend of mine, OG Mike might remember this tweet. It was one of those journalist types, and they don't want to call it Gamergate, because if they think it's gonna, and so they try to change the word to something stupid baby talk crap,
Mm-hmm.
So they said Glooberglorps or something like that. And so one of our friends, he goes, he makes a post right after it, and he goes and puts a picture of a baby, and he says, Glooberglorps, Glimmer Glamps, oopsie poopsie.
Got him.
Yep. Oopsie poopsie. Get out of here.
Yeah, that whole thing where they'll spell what they're trying to say differently, or they'll use spaces.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Again, it's just another thing of are we adults, or can you just say what it is you're trying to say?
That which must not be named.
Right.
Well,
Right. The whole Voldemort thing.
Yeah, we joke some of our friends on Twitter will joke around. And it's like, look, guys, I know you all are just supporting this so you can own Blumph, but but he's still the president.
Right. 3 years later, it still happened.
Yeah. Oh, they're going to impeach him any day now, though. It's time. I was like, you're literally, there's literally an election in 13 months, right?
Right.
Any day now. Somebody did a good mention about that. He said the reason some of these people have gotten so psychotic about this stuff is that You got to think, how long has been like the mainstream media and stuff like that been whipping these people into a frenzy nearly daily? When they're saying
totally.
this will be the end of the Trump administration. This is gonna, every day. It's just about every day. This is the beginning of the end. This is the it. We're 3 years into this. Heading into year 4. Right. And
every day has been effectively the day before the best day of their life.
Yeah. And every day,
Tomorrow never
and the next day, they're always disappointed, but they have hope for the next day.
Right.
Um,
and again, it's just literally like anything that comes out of that dude's mouth, like they'll just eviscerate. Like I think I told this before. Like I remember some group did a social experiment where it was during the 2016 election, and they fed a bunch of quotes to people saying, Hillary said this, Trump said that.
Yeah.
And they just switched the people that said it.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, everyone like tore apart the Trump quotes that were actually from Hillary. And then when they found out, like they didn't know what to do with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They also had that one experiment where they reenacted the debate with gender swap.
Right.
And
woman dressed Hillary and had her read basically all of Trump's dialogue.
Yeah, and didn't they say that the woman came off as like tough and strong-willed and all this crap? Yeah. I remember one. It's like like Murphy was talking about. There was this one particular one. They went to these people and they were telling them Bernie Sanders' tax plan, right? Mm-hmm. And the tax plan is to lower the rate, lower the corporate rate from 38% to 24%. For individuals, lower it this rate. Increase deduction amounts by X, and doing all this stuff per individual. Oh, those are great ideas. Those are Trump's policies.
At which point they immediately got kind of mad.
Yeah, they actually got mad. It's like, you tricked me. I was like, wait, but I thought they were great ideas. What's going on?
Right.
Then they did the same thing when they started reading off Obama era policies and saying they were Trump.
Yeah.
I still hate the president, but that's disappointing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. At the end of year 7, they will still be trying. We're going to get them.
No, you're not. Yang 2020. I believe.
You can believe that.
Don't.
I think by this time, in the middle of his second term, the wall will be finished. The Korean Peninsula will be at peace. We will have won the trade war and with China, and stomped on them at least once more. When they tried to wild out again after that, the economy will be the greatest it's ever been, and the European Union will be on the verge of collapse, but we'll be okay.
Yeah.
They'll still be talking about how he's the worst thing that ever happened.
And maybe by that point, the the UK will be like, "Whew, glad we got out of that thing."
Right.
Whew, that was a great idea. And looking back, like,
anytime somebody mentions the wall, I'm immediate. I don't know if you guys have seen any of Lyle Rath's, but he made one called the Trumbie, which is this caricature of Trump and the people who are really into him and really against him. Mm-hmm. And it ends with like, the Wallies isn't meant to keep them out. The Wallies is meant to keep you in. It's worthwhile to go out and watch it. It's the entire The series is pretty funny.
Quite.
I don't know. I'm just again, like being here in Portland, I'm just getting ready for next year. because I know the dude's gonna get reelected. I know he is,
Oh,
and
I'm so looking forward to going up to Portland to join the riots and do.
oh yeah, yeah.
We already have Best Buys mapped out. It's gonna be great.
Yeah,
Not that I would
I'm not looking forward
ever
to that whole
actually
thing.
do any looting or anything of that sort.
He's
Uh-huh.
talking about the Best Buy server on Minecraft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God. Do you think they're gonna shut down the fucking metro again?
Probably.
Yeah, yeah, I could see it. I mean, things were just weird here in 2016. I mean, they're still weird. Um, I don't know. It you know, like I fought a long time against the idea of like Trump derangement syndrome, but like I really do think there is merit to it. Like there are people who cannot deal with what reality is in 2019. I mean, even like you look at someone like a Greg Rucka in comics, and here's this guy who from like 2001 to like 2012 2013 was like fairly level-headed as a writer, and you know was actually critical of a lot of the things that he's now 100% bending the knee to. And you know, these days, like their behavior is just ridiculous.
Yeah, and I think you being directly in Portland, you're kind of in the epicenter of like the worst of it. Because like that in LA where it's just people so entrenched in these beliefs. And the fact that the fucking mayor of Portland has placated to well, let's not mince words, terrorists, because they have
Oh yeah,
terrorized the city.
no, that dude is 100% backing them. They like again, I know I've told this story before, but like anytime that we get news of like a riot, or not a riot, but like a protest or rally or anything that's going to be going on in the immediate vicinity of downtown, like we don't go anywhere near the city.
Yeah.
Because I'm not about to get like traffic directed by this Antifa piece of shit while like my wife and kid are in the car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw. Doesn't like his, that mayor, doesn't he like tell like the police basically to stand down?
Yeah, no, they can't do jack shit. Like,
Yeah.
and I've seen it. Like, because again, like 2017, 2018, you would have Tim Pool like stopping by here and just hanging out and watching whatever happened, and there would be this footage of like 4 or 5 people beating the shit out of somebody, and like right across the street is a line of cops just watching it happen.
Yep. It's kind of like you said, you're talking about like you and your wife and your kid. I remember a friend of mine, he happened to be traveling. It was through Charlotte when they had their issue with, it was an issue where a guy got shot by the police, and there was some wilding going on. And I asked him, I said, was everything all right? And he said, oh, yeah, we went around where all was happening. I said, well, thank God for that. And he's like, yeah, but I said, well, what would you have done? And he says, well, he said, it depends. He said, me by myself in the car, you just try to muddle through it. If they're going to do something, I guess they're going to do it. It's not like I'm not going to fight back or anything, but, and he said, but with the kids in the car, he said, I'm honest with you. I'm going to kill every motherfucker I see and they're going to have to, he said, if I'm going down, I'm taking them all with me.
Right.
He said, there is no remorse. There is no thing. You're threatening my family at that point, and there's going to be hell to pay,
Oh, 100%. Like,
Yeah.
dude, both for Selena and I, our favorite thing is videos in Portland of the cops actually doing something, it warms our heart.
It's like, oh, finally, right? Thank gosh, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's super rare. But it's like a Christmas gift whenever like one of them actually does something about it. Like it's so great.
And then you find out they got
Like,
suspended
there's-
later on or something.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Like there's this footage of state police who were brought into Portland. So again, not even city police. And there's like 5 Antifa for no reason just standing in front of a bus. And the cops just lay into them, and like you can even though they're fully masked, you can totally tell like these kids have no idea what's happening. Like the idea that they're being touched is just who the hell are you? And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, you're about to learn real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna have a bad time.
Yep.
It's like,
Fucking Antifa shows up. That fucking that Undertale theme starts playing.
But Megalovania?
Yeah.
well, it's like, I remember I've always said I've always been pretty good about handling confrontations with words. I had a situation one time. I think where was I working? Yeah, I was working at GameStop, and I was like in the I was at the food court. I was getting some lunch, and I had these guys, and they were like, they were pussies, but they were trying to be tough, right?
Sure.
And so I'm sitting here, and they're like picking on people, they're trying to pick on like older people and stuff like that. And I'm sitting here just eating my lunch, not minding my own business. Well, they come up to my table, and I already seen what they've been doing. And I said, I'm going to make this very clear. There's 4 of you, and there's 1 of me. There's a chance y'all might take me out, but I'm going to guarantee you one thing. At least 3 of you are coming with me. Then they went to the next table.
It kind of reminds me of that dude that got that talked that mugger down by just quoting Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Nice.
Give me back my wallet.
I had
Said my wallet.
my good
The one
friend.
that says "bad motherfucker" on it.
My good friend, he had a confrontation with somebody in the store one time, and the guy was trying to act bold, and my friend, he didn't realize who my friend's an old tough country boy. He don't give a fuck, right? He said, you think you bad? Okay, come on in. Come, he was just talking all kinds of bad shit at that point. He said, come on, get it, man. Come on, I'm an all day buffet. Get you 2 helpings.
Not to take away from the we have an update on something Blizzard's done.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so the Overwatch Contenders League is currently going. Mods have now surrendered in both the Overwatch League main chat and the Overwatch Contenders chat.
Oh.
They've stopped banning people from saying spam this Pong to free Hong Kong and spamming shit. Basically, you can say whatever the fuck you want in these now. The mods have just given up.
So the mods are revolting now.
Yes.
Great.
All right. Tomorrow, you watch what I tell you. Blizzard's going to make a statement tomorrow. I can guarantee it. They're going to do something. They've got to at this point. I originally said if it didn't blow up, but if it kind of remained like a mild controversy going into BlizzCon, they would have addressed it at BlizzCon. Just waited till then. They've got to, because it's going to affect BlizzCon if they don't.
Right.
And because people are already making plans for BlizzCon, so they've got to do something, or they're gonna have a really bad weekend coming up. So, but I'm actually glad that the mods have given up. That's a good sign. I actually like. I still think they'll stay the course with their stupid. I don't think so. There's no way they can stay the course. They're risking alienating their entire North American and European audience. And
Would you
Yes.
would you lose 60% for 40%?
exactly. I mean, yes. Well, as the Chinese market is a big market, it's not big enough to account for the rest of the world. So
Right.
On top of the fact that the Chinese market brings more problems with it,
yeah.
like say the Chinese market is no longer a thing for Blizzard, you
Mhm.
don't really have to worry about, the gold farmers being as big of a problem.
Yeah.
If only there was a politician who was in some sort of negotiation with the Chinese government for free trade.
Yeah, shout out to Andrew Yang.
What? No.
You want those
Listen-
Yang bucks?
Yeah, I do, but at the same time, imagine the meme. Like, he's less qualified than Trump.
But he got us all free money.
Yeah, fuck the economy, free money.
Well, he did that at one of the debates, which I think there's a debate going on tonight, but who cares? This stream got more views than that debate, more than likely. There was he made this big statement. He said something like, "Go to my website, and I'm giving away $1,000 to X amount of people." And I'm like, my dude, are you buying votes?
Right.
You can't do that. What are you doing, you idiot? I mean, at least Trump, I think, what do they call it? Was it the Iowa State Fair where a lot of these politicians go to campaign and stuff? The first time he went there, the most he did was offer free helicopter rides in his helicopter.
For the commies?
No, for kids, they could get in a helicopter and ride around in a Trump helicopter. That's.
Do you like this helicopter, Billy? Trump, I like it a lot. Good. You stay in this helicopter? Capitalism's pretty good, isn't it? Yeah. Stay in my helicopter.
Good
Thanks,
job,
Pinocchio.
Billy. Good job, Billy. You passed the test.
Do you like movies about gladiators, Billy? You ever hang around Turkish baths?
I got a picture of Trump up right now, and it's like I'm thinking he's just looking down at Xavier right now, like disgusting.
I love how the shading that we did for the overlay
Oh, does it
makes
make it look?
slightly more ominous.
It does actually. Holy shit! He does. He's like, I still like that mask I found for Zach. That's so good. Fits pretty well. And that's just all that is just taking another PNG and putting it over that. I didn't edit that picture or anything. I'm lazy. So I think that's enough for tonight. So once again, The Gods Fear Me, book 1. By the way, I agree with Micah said something very poignant about the title of your book. That's a title that grabs you.
Oh, well, thank you, man.
Yeah, because
Micah's been so supportive. I'm so appreciative of that dude.
yeah, I mean, just when you think about when you just what book did you read recently? The Gods Fear Me. Whoa, that sounds awesome. So yeah, give us that pitch one more time for all the folks.
You got it, man. So The Gods Fear Me is kind of it's a mishmash of a bunch of different source materials. It's equal parts Lovecraft, cyberpunk, sci-fi, horror, and adventure stories too, all kind of rolled up into one big thing. 200 years after the fall of man, we're introduced to Kedzi, a one-armed android. She's on a quest for vengeance across the wastelands of Earth, searching for the Puppet King, an alien god who destroyed her arm. During her journey, she crosses paths with a young boy named Brian who might be the key to saving what's left of mankind. It's at this point that she has to decide between following her programming and chasing her thirst for vengeance. The book comes in at 32 pages, and our base tier is $15. There's 2 planned sequels for the near future, and we'd love to have everyone listening come along for the ride.
Yep.
And there's trading cards.
And there's trading cards.
Yes, the base level trading card, if we just hit funding and don't go above, will be provided by Kristen Rossi. if we hit 8,000, the trading card will be done by Ethan Van Sciver, and you'll also be getting 2 postcards by Carlo Rowe.
Tell me if that doesn't sound good. And by the way, I know you said the base book is $15, but let me point out where I backed at with the swag bag. That's the one. That's the. I think that's the one people should really take a look at, because that's like your best bang for your buck right there.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's why I have it set at featured. So with the swag bag, you'll get not only the book and the prequel, but that's the level, if you're interested in helping us get to 8K to have Ethan and Carl chip in on the art, that's the level where you'll get that swag.
Yeah. So you're already getting everything, even if it doesn't hit that. But we're going to hit that. You're going to hit that. I mean, I just have a feeling.
Yeah, I mean, once, like we were talking earlier, like once we hit funding, we have from now till about April or May-ish to lock down as many stretch goals as we can. So I'm pretty confident that we can hit at least 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah. I have a feeling that this will end up being at this point, your most successful book, once it's all said and done.
Thank you.
And like I said, and then continuing on from there. This is the one I feel has like a lot of potential to grow, because it's kind of like I heard Micah say about it. It's very it grabs your attention, and in the idea, the background of the story is just awesome. Like,
thanks, man.
So I can't wait.
Yeah.
That's why I said we need to get this funded, because I want the book. I don't want to see my account get a refund. I want the book.
I hear you, man. Yeah, it's one of those things that I'm fairly confident. Once we wrap up this first campaign and the books go out, I'm fairly confident that word of mouth will help build our audience even bigger for Volume 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because shit happens at the end of this first volume, man. Like I did the final draft of the outline about 4 or 5 days ago now, and like I'm not one of these guys that like brags a lot about my own work, but I decided on what the ending was, and I was like, man, that's kind of messed up, dude. So I think it's gonna grab people.
Yeah.
You ended the book and just were like, oh man, why the fuck would you choose to end it that way? I want to keep reading.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like, I mean, believe me, like, we have 3 projects lined up for 2020, and again, just because of Kristen's schedule, book 2 of this will probably be the 3rd one, launching again probably around September or so.
Yeah.
If we could, I would just roll right into this in March, but yeah, I'm anxious to get going again. I wish I could do it sooner.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, this is, these books, like this and like Inglewood, are probably like the ones I'm looking forward to the most. Like, so.
I already paid for both of them.
There you go. I need to get Inglewood because I think he's closing out on the 19th. So I got to make sure I get
Yeah, I think I got Inglewood the last. I try to back a handful of projects like every 2 months, and I think last time around was when I backed Inglewood. I'm looking forward to that one a bunch.
Yeah, I was thinking at first, like when Malin was doing his his big push for the end of his campaign. I wasn't going to back it, but now it's like, you know what, I'm going to back it. And so I backed it, and I got the one, it comes with book 1, book 2, the supplemental, and of course now it's going to come with the U.S. Assassins.
Right.
So you're getting like 4 books. Yeah. So for the price I paid, I think it was pretty good, in all honesty. So what I did is, after I did that, I paid $5 super chat to Ethan, who was streaming at the time. It's like, all right, I backed the book. Now make me a mod on your channel. It was tongue in cheek. I didn't expect him to. It was just a joke, right? Like,
Sure.
And
You got it.
And he didn't. What a massive asshole. No, I'm kidding.
It
It's like,
sounds
God,
like John.
You take down EVS, you know, what I mean, you take down John Malin's channel, and now you won't make me a mod. Come on, what a jerk!
Did you ever get your Robot Frog book yet?
I have not. Because I got the ash can too, so I'm just waiting on that. I think once, because I think he said originally the original idea was they were going to ship out what stuff when it came in, but then the what do you call it? Damn. The fulfillment center told him, yeah, if you do that, it's going to cost an extra $18,000. He's like, yeah, let's just wait. Let's just wait. So yeah, I'll be getting. I'll probably. I think it sounds like I'll probably be getting it at the end of the month, roughly. Because I know people have gotten they're getting their Cyberfrog chromiums. People are starting to get their Salamandroid chromiums. So I'm guessing after that is when ash cans and stuff is going out. So.
Yeah, he was saying that there was some holdup at Canada with getting those shipped to the fulfillment center.
Always Canada.
Fucking
Blame
Trudeau.
Yeah. Oh god.
Trudeau insists on
Don't get
reading
me
every
started.
comic that comes through. It's the same.
Like, hey, Justin, it's the same book. You don't have to read them all.
There could be naughty words in this book.
It's the same
Oh, no,
book.
We have to make sure nobody in this book is in blackface.
Right. Right.
I've
I was
learned
just
my
going to say,
lesson.
and why are you in blackface?
Yeah, he's just like
I
reading
don't
these
see
books
what
in blackface.
I don't see what that has to do with anything.
Looking
This isn't
forward.
about me. This is about this.
Trevor Nickel in the chat says, looking forward to getting this funded. I want my Preston Acevedo art on my wall. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
you do.
very nice print. And then I like how when Micah was on last, we were talking about Preston, and he said like, "Oh, and by the way, he's drawing the entirety of my next book." So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, no, like like I knew about Preston because I had heard Micah talk a little bit about that next project, and when this cover came up that he kind of provided out of nowhere for me, I was like, all right, dude, like when you get done with that project, like you and I have a date, sir.
yeah.
So
we're gonna dance with the devil in the pale moonlight, right?
we are like we got early plans, but
Yeah.
the stuff's cooking.
Yeah, there. I mean, it might involve some kinky gay sex or something like that, but it's worth
Well,
it, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
see
that-
where the night takes us.
Yeah, well, for that kind of art, it's kind of worth it, right? It's like, all right, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
If you want, I'll kiss your tongue. No tongue, your pick.
All right. Well, okay. So I think it's time to end the stream. Mike, you're going to have to do the thing that Piper usually does because
Oh well, okay.
All right. So guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Maybe a stream tomorrow night. It depends on how the road takes me tomorrow because I got to go out of town for a little while. So we'll see. But anyway, y'all have a good one. Mr. Murphy, thank you once again for coming on.
Always a pleasure.
Yep. And like I said, guys, we'll see you soon. Y'all have a good one.
Bye-bye.